Hey everyone, if you have been following along with our series thus far, then you already know. My name is Brooke Hurd, and this is part of our series on OneNote. And today specifically, we're going to be doing an overview about the difference between OneNote and a classroom notebook. So they are hosted through the same site, OneNote, but there are very specific features to each one. Before we get into how to create a classroom notebook and the different components to it, I wanted to go ahead and give you an overview of what the differences between these two notebooks look like. So we have up to this point been working instead of a notebook. What I have open right now is called a class notebook. This is a notebook that was created for a small group special education classroom. And this is kind of a preview of what that notebook looks like. So you'll automatically notice up here that there are these spaces called the collaboration space and your content library. You also have a section called your teacher only. And then you can probably notice a lot of student names that are listed off to the side here and all the way down. So this is different from your regular notebook because in your regular notebook that we have been working in, you do not have this collaboration space, you do not have a section called content library, and you do not have a teacher only section. So let's kind of go over these three sections first. Our content library is what we have kind of been working in thus far. This is very similar to what you would make as a regular notebook. You can upload everything the exact same way, and other people that this is shared with can access and add to the notebook in the same way. This is separate from your teacher-only space. So whereas the content library is available for everybody to view that the notebook is shared with, the teacher-only space is only available to the creator of the OneNote. Meaning, if I have 30 plus students that are accessing my notebook, if there's a page in the teacher-only section, they cannot see it until I copy that page over into the content library. This is a really handy tool because as you'll notice in my teacher-only section when I click on it, I have units from several different years of teaching. But then when you go over to the content library, which is what my students have access to, I only have the 4 units of instruction listed. So this just helps keep everything organized from the viewer standpoint and then also from the teacher side as well. Then you have this collaboration space right here. We talked about this briefly in some of our previous videos, but the collaboration space is simply an area where all the students can come to gather and work on one page at the same time. Think about it as being like a massive Microsoft shared document that is instead of the cloud. So now that we've been over those 3 spaces, you also have individual students that each have their own sections instead of the OneNote as well. So up here at the top, since we are instead of the premium version, we have access to the class notebook, and you'll see a separate tab up here. It would be probably next to your view or your learning tools tab. So when you click on your class notebook, you have all of these different options, which we will get into as we start talking about how to create a class notebook and how to set it up. I want to go ahead and show you though what it looks like from the student perspective and what their individual sections look like as well. So we're going to flip over to a student notebook that I have pulled up right here. So this is one of the students that was inside of this class. And this is what his notebook looks like when he first opens it up. So as you can already tell, it's a lot less cluttered on his end and from his viewpoint than what it looks like from the teacher viewpoint. So this is really helpful for students. He has 3 sections on his: collaboration space, which we've already been over, the content library, which lists out each of the units and has all of the information for each of those units listed underneath there. Then he has his own individual section with his name on it. And this isn't a real student, this is just one of our practice students, by the way. So you'll see he has individual sections that I made for him and the rest of the class: class notes, classwork, homework, quizzes, and tests. So when I distribute something to his section, you'll see it pop up on his page. So here's an example for the vocabulary for Unit 1. Once he's inside of his notebook with his name on it and he clicks on a page, he can draw or edit this page however he wants. So he can come up here to the draw feature, for instance, and use the highlighter and highlight the different sections down here, or even draw on the page. And once he has done so, then I am able to see that on my end and then review it and give him feedback. So hopefully this video has given you a clear picture of what the classroom notebook looks like and how it's a little bit different from the regular OneNote. And then also shown you that what the teacher sees on her side is not always what the student sees as well. In the next few videos, we're going to be talking about how to set up the classroom notebook and some of the different features on the class notebook that are separate from OneNote.